The following episode is brought to you by Poison City Brewing, proud makers of Durban Poison Cannabis Lager, the beer that invites you to live your poison.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
All right, sick. So, who am I chatting to today? Cause I see here, I think you guys are connecting through one connection. How do I pronounce the name, bro? Is it JD or Heidi?
Yeah, but this is just another computer. So you're talking to Jandre, Emil, and Rudolph.
Okay, cool. No, that's sick, man. That's dope. And obviously, you guys are de Wallen. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah.
Hey, that is super. So yeah, basically I'm super stoked that you guys are on the show, and want to thank you for joining me at this time. And I also want to thank Devo as well for setting this up. And I really just want to get this started by finding out more about the name, because I feel that's one of the most important aspects to people knowing about you guys and the origins of the band. So is this a name that basically came up when you guys first started the band initially? And how did you guys sort of come up with it?
Yeah, so I thought when we started the project in the Netherlands, in a town called Bussum, and then I thought, like, what is more rock and roll than the road that runs through the light district in Amsterdam? And that's took the name. It's dirty, it's sexy, it's rock and roll, and it's all inclusive. So yeah, I think it's very appropriate, a very appropriate name, and it adds to our sound as well and what we're going for.
So would you say, like, it was breaking up there, but and I think it actually is my connection, but I did pick up the part where you said the Netherlands. So was the band, or rather, did the band sort of originate from Amsterdam or the Netherlands, or is it more of like a South African thing?
No, it's a South African band, full on. Like I came here when I was very young, but I just wanted to pick something unique and something to go with my heritage. And by that time, it was either that or we were going to be called Lightning Viper, which I think it's either or.
Oh, that is incredible, man.
Lightning Viper.
But I think,
So, I mean, you're 90. I mean, what better?
Yeah.
In the middle of my post-teen angst, so yeah.
You wouldn't happen to know the vocalist of a band called Fourth Sun South, because he also came through from the Netherlands, actually.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy, because that band is also managed by Devo as well. But wow, that's friggin' cool, man. Tell me a bit more. I mean, you came down from the Netherlands when you were young. I know it's about the band, but just brief history, just quickly rushing past it. How would you say the music scene is in the Netherlands compared to here in South Africa? Do you enjoy it more that side, or do you enjoy it more this side?
I do enjoy. Like, I'm a local boy through and through. So I always fly off flag, but I'd say there's a lot more. The people, they are fanatic about music, like, and any type of music, like it's indoctrinated almost into them that you go and support it from, and not just a young demographic, but the older people as well. They pull through and they do support music, and it's actually very funny that when you play there, a lot of the times the sets are broken up so that into 3 30-minute sets throughout the night, so that people can come and watch you. And if there's another band playing, they can go watch the another band, and even slip in a third venue if possible as well. So, and everyone, everywhere, every time that you're there, that you're promoting not just yourself, but you're promoting the town, you're promoting the town's music. We haven't been there in the summertime, in the festival circuit, but yeah, we're really looking forward to. In the winter times, you can really see why the music scene there works, is because it's working musos, and the people really go out of their way to come and support, whether it's 2 degrees outside or 16 degrees.
That is incredible, man. I really like how you painted a picture there of how the scene was. Like, I felt like, I basically know a bit more about, what's going on in the Netherlands. But obviously, since you guys are based here in South Africa, and, how do you guys ensure, just looking at the name as well, I feel like you're one of the bands that has been able to nail down, this thing of the name actually matching the kind of look that you guys are going for? I mean, when it comes to your actual presence and the look of the band, you know, what are you guys, or who are you guys sort of inspired by?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of the work goes into Peter. Peter is not here, but he does a lot of the thinking on that front. Whereas I think he's just taking all of our personalities and dialing it to 11, and to make it come across, and to always keep it authentic, but to basically just amp up our personalities and make that shine through and make it unique so that people know as soon as we enter the venue or as soon as we start playing, people can go, oh, that's that those boys from the northern suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously with the band sort of, you know, coming together, I did read up on the EPK that Devo had sent through, and it did mention, you know, some band members changing and all that. But what I want to find out right now is sort of right at the very beginning of all this, you know, the beginning of Wallen's journey, you know, how did the initial members actually come together and form this awesome band?
The initial members, okay, so you won't believe it, like we were at a party, like all everyone, yeah, I'm making a mess, yeah.
The beer is not as strong.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. My first beer is spilling. Let me just wipe off this counter and I'll tell you. So I'm joined by Emil and Rudolf, which is the newest members, but they were actually at this party where this band was formed. So we had a massive extravaganza that they actually, Rudolf co-hosted, called the Ayoba Festival. And it was at someone's house. They had charged entry and had a cash bar. It was actually, come to think of it, way ahead of its time. I think Rudolf could have been a music promoter as well, if in a parallel universe. Yeah. But after this night, the next morning, me and David were sitting there, and we were like, we're going to start a fucking rock band, but like, we need some pretty boy to come and play guitar. And Rudolf actually suggested, getting Peter in to come and play guitar. And by that time, Peter was taking lessons from Rudolf. So even from the very start, that's how we got started. It's me, myself, David, and Peter writing a couple of tunes. We tried to recruit a bass player, but he never pitched. And then we were working at St. Elmo's Pizza at that time. And we had a friend that was the manager, and he actually played the viola. But we were like, a viola's got 4 strings, a bass got 4 strings, we'll be fine. Like, he can just play bass. And off we went onto the gigging circuit. We played an open mic night, and the rest is history.
Hey, this is incredible, man. Like, especially the fact that, you know, Rudolf was hosting this Ayoba show. It sounds fucking cool, actually. You know, Emil, Rudolf, I want to find out from you guys, being, you know, members of the band who recently joined. What has your experience been like working with Zwane?
Well, I must say, if I can start, Emil talking now. So the best part of what Zwane just told now is before they started the Wallen, he was actually doing metal and growling and shit. So you know, that was quite a funny part from going from like that metal into this awesome rock scene that we're doing now. And yeah, I've been following the Wallen for quite a while. Me and Zwane, we were playing together for also quite a few years. We were in music school together. And things just didn't go according to plan that time with work and stuff. But yeah, eventually we got together. Here we are. Yeah, the two Bobbiana. Yes, like that. They must always take chains and fucking everything. Sorry for that flippy there. But they take everything and they must lock us up. And then we have a show. So from my point of view, it's an awesome experience to play with these talented guys. And yeah, sure, for many years to come, I would just go full on. That's from my side.
It's kind of funny because we've been friends for, let's say, at least 15 years. Yeah. We've passed each other in the music industry, recorded songs together. We made like spoof songs for friends, worked together on stuff. It was always beautiful, but never played together. And it was one of my stuff that I really wanted to do. And then eventually this last year, it just came together for the first time. I had the opportunity to play with these guys, and it just felt so natural. Just walking in, and it's not like getting to know somebody new. It's not like, oh, you have to audition for this, and then you just walk. It's a bunch of friends walked in, played together. It just gelled, just worked out, and it was so awesome.
Yeah, and I really think that they've brought it back for a long time. Me and Peter were worried, like, because it didn't feel like it was the old boys together. When now for the first time in 8 years, this feels like this should have been the lineup from the start, and I can't wait to see where we're going from here.
Yes, that's beautiful. I think Rudolph there, bro, you mentioned something about making spoof songs for mates, and everyone just cracked up. Tell me a bit more about that. What's like the best one you guys have made?
We had this friend, and he was like head of hotels, in love with this one girl, and we made the song. He was in love with a girl called Anamika.
Yeah.
So he came with the idea, and he came with the song, and we said, let's do this proper. So he had the whole melody and had the lyrics and everything, and I was like, let's make this a project. And we made the song, and basically the lyrics was just like tuning this guy about Anamika, like this classic Afrikaans, like Darren vibe. And we basically did a song like that, and we thought he was going to be angry and she was going to be angry. And when they listened to it the first time, they were like actually impressed.
Yeah. So that was props to us. But what happened is, like, they were so smitten that it was, I think, their second month anniversary, and a big do. And so we thought, how appropriate, we'll write them a song.
Oh, these are incredible. Are we able to get any of these anyway? Like, are they out to listen to? Maybe on like Apple Podcast, Apple Music or anything?
I think I still got some of it. If we do have, we'll send it through. But if not, I still have the original lyrics, so we might re-record.
I've got the song, definitely. So I'll send it on. And then you can just listen to one light chorus and you'll get the gist of the...
And there was a bass solo towards the end. There was a ripper that Rudolph composed.
But it's kind of funny because it's all like MIDI. You can hear it wasn't like...
It's not, by any stretch of the imagination, a professional production.
Not at all. But the effort was 100%.
Yeah.
But the quality wasn't there, but the effort was there.
You have to say that might be on the big stage, and I think we might have a hit on our hands.
We definitely need to hear that, bro. If you can send it through. You'll probably like pin it up at the end of this, bro. It'll be fucking sick. I wanna know from you guys, being so experienced, when it comes to making music and having done this for a very long time. This is just an open-ended question. Are there any differences, in the music scene here in South Africa? Looking at the time when you guys first started getting into it and making music compared to right now in 2021, pandemic aside, are there any differences?
For sure. Like, if we started 2 years earlier, I think we would have caught that whole MCAR wave. A lot of the big, as silly as it might sound, and it might be rose-tinted glasses I'm wearing by looking back at it, because I've got very fond memories of that. It's like when MCAR was on and you had Campus Invasion and you had venues that, at least in my experience, it was a weekend thing. Like, we would go to school during the week and it was like, what's happening this weekend? Oh my word. Like, I still remember we went to go and watch FL and Vogelplan with Brock. And this is Kunstcafé, all that sort of things. But it was because MCAR was pushing a lot of these bands, and it kind of felt legitimate because it was on our TVs. Like, we had DSTV at home. We could sit over. MCAR was always playing. And it kind of, I think, even legitimized it to my parents that thought that it was obviously a pipe dream. But like, when they saw, it's like, oh my word, like, yes, this and it's on TV.
Yeah.
And it's kind of legitified it to a certain extent for them in supporting me going forward. Whereas now that we've lost that platform, a lot of the thing is just pretty much, how can I say now? It's the same crowd, and they're still very much alive. But I think we are sorely missing that platform of it being on television, and it's kind of a one-stop shop. If you want to know what's happening in the scene, you just flick onto this, and there you go. Whereas now you have to go digging. I think it pretty much just went on to how it was before, divided into little sub-scenes.
Yeah.
Like you've got in Pretoria, there's the Volmer connection is up there. You've got the Bones, all sorts of rock projects that's happening around there. But if you don't know those guys and you don't know in that area, then it's very easy to miss it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss out on some incredible music, especially in the divide now between North and South. That's growing bigger again.
Yeah.
Like the scene in Joburg, we actually don't know what's happening in Joburg or in Pretoria unless you go there and then go see for yourself.
That is incredible, man. It really, you paint a picture of like, you know, MCAR was basically like this umbrella that sort of unified, you know, North and South and everywhere. So it is a pity that it's no longer around. You know, it's quite sad. I mean, looking at the whole MCAR thing and it being predominantly, you know, had like the Afrikaans bands go on there. I remember a conversation that I recently had with a band called Zen Garden. Who I think are up in Pretoria, and they're like Afrikaans speaking, right? Like their mother tongue is Afrikaans, and they express themselves on the music that they make is in English as well. And they were saying, you know, the reason why we don't want to do Afrikaans music is because if we express ourselves in Afrikaans, it will sound cheesy, or Kurt Darren type vibes or whatever. Not that they were bashing it. So I want to know with you guys in terms of, you know, why do you guys pick, you know, or choose to express yourselves, you know, in English as opposed to, you know, have like full on Afrikaans?
Jy kan my hardloop maar, ek sien jou.
I think it had a lot to me. Like I'm a predominantly a songwriter now, although with the addition of Rudolf here and Emil, I'm looking forward to seeing when we write our next material, like where it's going. I write Afrikaans stuff for a variety of projects. I work with a guy called Lee Berg, which does a lot of mainstream stuff. So, but for a very long time, I was scared to write in Afrikaans. And now that I have it, pretty much, I've got a very good feeling of what I do in Afrikaans. I'd still prefer to write in English because I think I can express myself a lot better, especially for this project in English. I think I've got a better command over the English language than I do actually of my mother tongue. Although I'm working on getting both done, but no, that's pretty much the reason why. Is for a long time we were just pretty much I was afraid of writing in Afrikaans, and the English came so naturally that's the reason why we stuck with that. But yeah, you should tell the other band they should actually give it a bash and see. I think they might also be looking at they had some experiences before, or people have told them that this is the case. But as an Afrikaans-speaking person myself, I'd always suggest that people do and go and express themselves in their mother tongue for the sake of the language.
Yes.
For it to continue to grow. But obviously, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And I support that 100%. But yeah, that's the reason why we have been doing English just for a very long time. We were scared of writing in Afrikaans.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, man. Like we had another band called Contras on the show, and they express themselves in Afrikaans.
Oh yeah, good mates of ours.
Yeah, they make beautiful. Like I don't understand what they're saying, but it sounds fucking beautiful. So I completely agree with what you guys are saying. You know, I feel like we found out a bit more about the band. We've learned about, you know, your history, the origins, and whatnot. I think it's time we come to the crunch talks, and that is the fact that you guys recently released you know, a body of work. So I need you guys to tell me about that. It's obviously called Street Fights Sonata. What is behind that name? Like how did you guys sort of, you know, come up with it, and what's sort of the influence or the background story to it?
It literally is just one day we were spitballing around ideas, and this was one that really stuck to me because and it sort of came to like, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. That thing. We actually thought when we initially started writing this album, which is almost 3 years ago, that it was going to be a breeze. Like, we have the material, we're going to just like breeze through this album. And then it turned out to be one of the most difficult children we've ever had to go through. And it was a process. And yeah, it's pretty much the Street Fight Sonata comes from. We wanted to mesh showing growth, like how much the music has grown, and yeah, so a bit of culture now to this madness that is the Wallen, but to try and still keep it fresh. Since every now and then we do enjoy an old scrap there outside Bohemia at night.
Hey, listen, guys, with you guys having released this album, would you guys say in 2020 it's something that has been profitable to release an album? I ask this because you'll find that the majority of people within the past few years have sort of just been releasing either singles or they release like EPs, something that people can consume, rather quickly, or something that is easily accessible. And an album carries so much weight. There's so much that goes on, that goes to it and goes along with the album release, with touring and all of that there. Would you guys say this is something that's been profitable, releasing this album?
Oh no!
Not in South Africa. Like, in South Africa, you record an album, you release it, and hopefully, the launch and all that cost covers the cost of the album.
Yeah.
But still, for me, and I don't know, for some of the boys, it's a hobby that if it pays, it's nice. If it doesn't pay, then it's a nice hobby.
Yeah, but you need to do it. That's the biggest thing for me. It's like versus I know, and I've read up a lot about it, like how people are consuming this. But for me, maybe I'm just stupid, or maybe I'm just old school like that. But I want an album, a physical top to bottom experience. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why we pushed for it. And it took this long because financially it is a dog show to release an album. Yeah. I would not recommend it if there's younger listeners at the moment and thinking of recording an album. You're stupid. but you still got to do it. Like, if you're not going to do it, who is? Yeah. And that's the mentality that I have over it. But yeah, to answer your question, financially it's a dog show, but I'm very glad that we did it. And now it's out there, and people can continue seeing that we continue our body of work.
How would you say?
Yeah,
please, bro, continue. Yeah, please add.
I might add to that, not in a financial way, but profitable when we finished it. All of us, mostly Picky, Peter and Slender, Adrian, drummer, they worked on it most of the time.
Yeah.
I think I came in just on serendipity, I think.
Yeah.
And these guys worked very hard on this, and there was a lot of blood, sweat, tears, moervloek, all that shit. And so for the hard kind of vibe, there's a lot of profit in it.
Now that makes a lot of sense, bro. How would you guys say Street Fight Sonata differs from your previous two albums?
I think it's a lot more raw and a lot more authentic in the sense of the subject matters song to song, as well as the experience top to bottom. Whereas in previous times, I think I wrote a lot stories or stuff like that, and I consider myself quite a storyteller, and to do that, whereas in this experience now, it's stuff that we actually went through. This is all songs written from the heart. Everything has got a story behind it. I wish I could take you through every single song, and you'd have quite a laugh to see where most of the stuff is coming from. But yeah, so I think this one definitely a lot more authentic, and it came out a lot more raw than we initially anticipated. And I'm very, very glad about that.
One thing that the listeners may not know is that you guys postponed, the release of this album because it was missing the X factor. What is this X factor that it was missing?
When you listen to something, and it's like turning on a car's engine for the first time, and you get that little curl in the side of your mouth, and the hair sort of at the back of your neck starts standing out, where everyone knows, yeah. That's it. It was missing that, and I think it was literally just because there was something missing sound-wise, and we weren't happy with what we delivered in the studio that initial couple of times, and it took a long time for us to fix it. In my opinion, and some of the other guys might differ with me, but this whole experience has just taught me one thing, is like, I will never again make an album the way we did it this time, ever. So it was an expensive lesson to learn, but I promised the rest of the guys that never again will it be a struggle like this. This time I'll go back to what I know, and we'll do ample amount of planning and make sure everything is 100% dialed before heading into studio.
I think one of the incredible achievements, when it comes to this album, is the fact that you guys toured Europe. So how was that experience? Where in Europe did you guys actually play?
Sure. Where didn't we play?
Yeah, it was pretty much the most of the circuit revolved around the Netherlands and Germany, and we played a couple of dates in Belgium. Yeah, so we pretty much played top to bottom throughout almost venues similar size to what we play in South Africa.
Yeah.
And with the exception of a couple of bigger venues and bigger clubs. And both of the times we went in winter, which is their music scene works in seasons. There's a festival season and there's an off season. Yeah. Now their off music season is where clubs actually book bands. Oh. That's where you get seen when it's festival times. Clubs don't book bands because why on earth am I going to come and spend money to watch a club when I can literally take the bus and go to something like Prikkelpop or Lowlands Festival and see System of a Down and Billie Eilish in one day. And so all the local bands pretty much just work in the winter times, and that, depending on how successful your circuit is there, is pretty much dictate your festival slot, like where you're going to be placed in the festival lineup. And it was absolutely amazing since people can see that it's not just us touring. There's bands, we hooked up a couple of times, a band from England, bands from the States that are on the same bill as us, and it's literally everyone's there with the same goal. It's like, we're coming here, we're going to slay it, we're going to try and get festival slots or get a record label to come and notice you. And it was absolutely incredible. And the people really do come out and support. We had so many South Africans in their Springbok jerseys just pitch up because they saw on the post it said, "De Wallen, South Africa." And they were like, "Oh, we don't care who this band is. We're going to come and watch."
Yeah. We were also like, they're so awesome there. So we also met some South African guys there. John and them met them the year before. And these guys were like, "No, bro, you guys are not going to go and sleep in a hotel or something and pay for that. Come, I've got like a band practice room."
Yeah.
Nice.
And they bought us beers and all that shit. And then we went on and eventually we slept there with no charge and stuff. So the people are awesome there. Eventually, the guys from South Africa that comes and supports and stuff. And that scene is just, I loved it. That was my first time last year, right?
Yeah.
Year before, 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
That was my first year. And did we party? But ain't nah.
Yeah.
I think I'm still bubbling.
That's the biggest thing is like the reason why we can't actually tell you specific venues is talking to the two people who just sit drinking in the back. It's me and Emil. At that time, Rudolph hasn't gone with us. So my apologies. You'll have to ask Peter there the exact venues that we played. I just remember the highlights and the lowlights.
And our best one, Cowboy und Indianer.
Cowboy und Indianer in Germany, definitely. If anybody goes to Hamburg, they need to go check out that place. Sven and the guys doing an awesome job.
Tell me something. As beer aficionados, would you guys say the beer in Germany is better than here? I don't drink beer, but I just want to get from a professional's perspective. South African beer or German?
Bro, I love beer. And I heard you swear earlier, so I actually fucked myself this one day. I'm like, give us some beers there, man. So Peter's main rule for me and Pucky mostly was, when you get to the venue, please just get your gear in the place and set up, and then you drink beer. Obviously, me and John first at the bar. So I can't remember. I think it was moonshine.
Yeah.
By the moonshine, I'm like, fuck this. I'm babalas. I just need a beer, man. I just need to just clear my head. And it's after a 4-hour drive or something.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is that this beer is like 10 or 11% or something.
Yeah.
So I clapped 3 quickly. My bro, did I fall around in that place? So definitely their beer is better.
Yeah. I mean, like some of the beers that we drank there are older than our country. So if they've been doing it that long, I think it's just a matter of practice. I support local. I do enjoy my local beer. But I think the reason why they are better is because they've had a lot more practice.
I think we didn't get that Das Boot in Germany, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, the way you said, yes, I love beer. Dude, it has so much passion in it, bro. Like it shines through, dude. Like it's incredible. When we look at
Over everything.
Just have an idea. It's now what time is it now? It's 11:30 in South Africa. Emil is sitting with a beer.
dude.
Alcoholic.
Just say.
I
It is
think
the weekend. Come on. We've been working hard all week.
we need to send you guys a pack of Durban Poison because you guys are beer fans.
Oh,
Yeah, that sounds great.
I will never say no.
Okay, guys. So just jumping back into the tour, you guys also basically toured, South Africa. So tell me a bit more about that. Which cities did you guys actually hit? And I hope that you guys included Durban because fuck, no one ever comes to Durban anymore.
Durban's the only one that look. We've played this country plat in the 10 years, like 10 years that we've been actually going. But I think the wonderful part now is like Emil and Rudolf hasn't really done extensive touring, and now we get to do that all over again. But Durban is the one city that we've always missed.
Why?
For some reason, I think there's a couple of reasons. Mostly it was just costing, because we would get there, then we would only, what was it called, the Winston would book us.
Yeah.
I think it was called the Winston.
Yeah, it is.
They would book us, but then the costing would always, when we would sit down, it would be really keen. But when we worked at the costing, then it's like, to do that, we have to do it in the weekend. If we do Durban, then we have to do another date on the Friday or Saturday, on the Saturday or Sunday, again in Joburg. And we could never find another venue close by there to justify it. I've always wanted to come. I've been strapped a couple of times, but literally it was going up as well. The same thing. It's like, it's just the costing worked out too much for us, whereas that's usually the time why we skipped Durban. Look, it's far, and especially if you have to bring your own PA and lug that around. Like we didn't have big buckies or anything like that, so we were pretty much renting or begging or borrowing or stealing our way across the country. So yeah, that's to answer your question. That's the only reason why we've never done Durban. Yeah. And the rest we pretty much covered. And then Northern Cape, we haven't done extensively. But Bloemfontein, we've done a lot. We've done Joburg, Pretoria, a couple of times. We went to Opikopi 3 times.
Oh.
So, and Cape Town, obviously, like, you can ask the people here, they know us. They have seen our faces. Well, we've actually lost a couple of flagship venues now, but then gained a couple of now again. So, if it's in Cape Town, you'll definitely see us.
Dude. It's simple for you. You haven't done it yet. Make it happen.
Get us there, man. Like, we'll definitely come, especially now, since I think we're all a bit older as well. We want to see the rest of the country that we haven't seen. So pitch it to us and we'll take it from there.
Make a plan. Like some curry, of wat het curry, maar een bietjie masala.
All right, sick, guys. We'll see to it that's done. Because, I mean, we need to have Wallen here in Durban, bro. I feel like, you guys would really be appreciated this side. And it's refreshing, dude. Like, we see the same bands all the time. So it would really be refreshing to see you guys come through. And obviously with, going back to the album as well, you guys did face, a couple of challenges with that. We basically member changes and all that. So tell me a bit more about that. Go as deep as you can. Was there, the people want to know, was there like bad blood there? Is that the reason why some of the people left, or was it all in good terms? Why did the people leave? If you can, dive into that.
It's the biggest swap that we did is Office, obviously, that left. Okay, but are we talking about just this album? Because prior to the start of this album, Thomas left, who was our previous lead guitar player. He left to pursue, he's a flight electronic engineer.
Ooh.
And he's doing very, very well. And he and his girl was settling down. And he pretty much saw everything he wanted to see in the South African music scene. If I can put it that way, we left on gorgeous terms. And then our previous bass player, Mr. Ashley Hilton, just left. He had a bit of a personal issue, I guess. Like, he just left. Yeah. And so we were too short, and it was just me and Adrian and Peter. And Harfies, which is a good friend of mine, Adrian, stepped in to do it with us. But I think I made the mistake of picking friends over like talent.
Yeah.
Not to say that he wasn't talented, but like I think predominantly we had too many good times and not enough sitting and actually playing.
Yeah.
And I think after the first European tour, Harfies also took a stage back. Him and his girl got serious. And we left on relatively good terms. We still mates to this day. And then it was the big thing. Are we gonna stop this project? Has it run its course, perhaps? And then Peter said to me, I don't think it's run its course. I didn't feel like it had run its course. And the next thing you know, we got Emil involved and Rudolph involved, and Bob's your uncle, we're back.
Now the Bobbiana is full steam.
Now we're full steam back into it. But so it definitely was a couple of rough years, especially myself. I'm a fine bloomicky, despite the hard exterior and gruff voice and horrible language. And I think it did affect me a lot more than I actually gave or let it through at that time. So if anyone's out there, Office, thank you for your contribution to the album. Bye Donkey. And to everyone that's actually played with us over the years, bye Donkey for all your effort. And thank you for helping the project get to where it now is.
Yeah. You know what I
appreciate? On that note,
I
just want to mention how many members was part of the Wallen over the past 10 years, because it's been 10 years now.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yes. So really, you're going to do this to me now? Okay. Yeah. So it's been Ruan left. Ruan played bass. Ruan got swapped by Brandon Bell. Brandon Bell played for us for 2 years. Justin Hoskin played for us for 2 years. They both out. Then Thomas went out. Ashley Hilton came in. Our drummer got replaced, which was Victor, which now plays for Sunset Sweatshop. Victor went out. It was replaced by Andre. Andre went to China. Andre was replaced by Adrian. Adrian in. Harfies is in on bass guitar again. And then the last of the swaps, which is Emil in and Rudolph.
I think you're never gonna fucking stop.
There's been a lot of
a lot of names, bro. A lot of names.
But see, and every single time it feels like, are we gonna call it? Like, is it that done? And then it's like, no, there's still so much we want to do. There's still so much we're gonna write. And then to me, it's just the biggest thing is just stopping. I can't think of anything else, anything worse that I would want to wish on any of my friends and their projects than stopping or calling it quits.
Yeah.
So it's out of sheer tenacity that we are still here.
Yeah.
Or stupidity, one or the other. I'm not too sure.
Listen, guys, we almost at the end. You know, sometimes you don't want to drag it too long, but you guys are so interesting. And I think one of the things, you know, that stands out to me is just the chemistry between the three of you. You know, obviously it's not the whole band that's here, but I've just been really enjoying talking to the three of you. And I think that's just testament to the general positive vibes that you guys have. So I think the fact that you guys are the people in the band right now, you know, it's destiny. I feel like you guys are the people to take the Wallen to the next level, you know. So shout out to you guys for that.
Yeah.
And you know what's the funny part about it? The three of us sitting here grew up together in the same town, eh?
Yeah, we're in the same town.
Girls River. So we are the Kaila Kate here sitting here. The originals, man.
Hey, that is beautiful, man. Like, tell me about the pandemic, guys. How did that affect the band? You know, did it add more sort of hardships? You know, some people have been saying, you know, that come through to the show, they've been saying, you know, the lockdown has been a blessing for them because they've had to adapt and change their way and go online and everything. You know, how has it sort of affected the Wallen as a band?
Well, if I might say, on affecting the Wallen, the album. So that is the worst part of it. But we stayed close together. We had a lot of contact. We were probably Biggie Scallum also, and got together and had a few beers, especially me and Picky or genre. And but I really don't know how to explain on how it affected the Wallen itself. But I know on the album it also put us back a lot. The thing is, if you're not together, it's not going to help. So we didn't take that step of actually trying to write new material. So we started working on the album, trying to get that fixed and trying to get funds and stuff to get the recordings done. And yeah, so it wasn't heavy affected for me myself. I don't know about Genre and Rudolph, but yeah, at least it's probably almost done now.
Yeah, I think we leaned on each other a lot. Rudolph and Emil carried my ass a couple of months where I had no income, and they helped me out. So I'm very, very thankful for that.
It's because we love you.
But I'm very, very thankful for that. So they carried my fat ass through a couple of months of lockdown, which is very, very, it's always nice to know. And it brought us together. Like we've seen one another a lot, and I'm just looking forward. We finally got everyone now to where we know the repertoire really, really well. So yeah, now, and we're playing a couple of shows again. We've got booked just actually news just in at the end of this month. We're playing in Stellenbosch again.
Nice.
For everyone that wants to come and check us out, and it's going to be at Antlas on the 28th. And we're just going to take it from string to string. We start writing the next album, I think, in a month's time.
Yeah.
There's some ideas that I've got in my old noodle that I would like to express. And let's just take it from there. But first, I think we're just going to promote the hell out of this album, try and see if we can get some festival slots for 2022, and take it from there.
And touring again 2022.
Damn straight.
Hey, this is beautiful, guys. Thank you actually for hitting us with that update. You know, we now know you guys have an album that you're working on. You guys are going to be playing Stellies soon. We're at the end of the month, so I'm super stoked, and I think all the listeners are stoked as well. So, you know, my last question for you guys is your relationship with Devo being your manager. How has that sort of experience been for you? What value has he added to the band? And yeah,
man, I think I'm out of words actually on how good he actually is. And yes, he knows what he's doing, and this was the best choice that I think we all could agree to say that this is the best choice we have made.
I was the one that was skeptical, because you're going to pay this money to somebody, and with PR and marketing, you never know. You can't really measure what somebody's going to do.
Yeah.
And they just told me, like, this guy's the real deal. I was skeptical, and I saw that first week, that guy just pulled all the rabbits out of one hat. And one hat, and he pulled multiple rabbits, like a whole colony out of that hat. It's really amazing seeing what he does for bands, and he breaks his back. He really, if there's anything he can do, he will do it for you. And he just goes the extra mile. Not the extra mile, he goes the extra journey. He goes overseas.
Around the world, bro.
That guy's I'm really impressed with the service.
I think
thanks, Devo, in any case.
Yeah. I think the most incredible part is that he's doing this with like multiple bands, of which I don't know. I don't know if he like multiplies himself into like 10 people secretly, but it's fucking incredible. So it's really cool to hear. Yeah. It's incredible.
You gave his game away.
I gave away his secret. It's really cool though to hear that you guys have a good, you know, relationship. He's obviously I obviously want to thank, you know, you guys as well for coming to the show. As I said in the beginning, I really appreciate, you know, us having this conversation. Want to thank Devo as well for arranging it and enabling for this to happen. And yeah, guys, basically we're going to be closing out right now. And before we close out, I want you guys to give me your favorite song in Street Fight Sonata, so we can play out with that one before we give people your handles and whatnot.
Obviously, Serendipity. That is just for me. Oh, I don't know who wrote that, if it was Andre. But that riffs in that thing is so awesome. So I would definitely say it's
amazing guy. Okay, so we all on different vibes here, because I think Triggered is the song that's the banger.
Let's go with Triggered.
We go with Triggered if that's all right.
I agree.
All right. It sounds like, I think the fact that you guys are so divided just shows how good this album is. Like every song is every song is a gem on there. So we're gonna play out with Triggered, and before we cue into that, there, just give people your handles and just parting words for the people.
Okay, everybody listening to this, I need you to go look into the mirror, smack yourself on the arse, look at yourself and go, yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for listening, and stay awesome. Keep on being rock and roll. We'll see you at the next show where possible. You can follow us at the Wallen Band on Facebook, on Instagram at the Wallen Band Official. And on YouTube, it's at the Wallen Band. You can't miss it. You'll see my beautiful blue eyes peeking over to you. Keep supporting the band. We've got some shirts for sale. Please buy a t-shirt. It helps pay the bills. And
it's awesome shirts as well.
And on Spotify, please check us out. That's very, very important. Go check out Street Fight Sonata. Stream it. Play it for your girlfriend, your mama, your auntie, and and your niggie. And on iTunes as well.
All right.
Please, please, please add the Wallen Band, Street Fight Sonata, and mwah, we'll see you at the next show.
Please don't play it for your mother because she's definitely going to strip and run down the road.
Oh, okay. I think that's a perfect point to close out ads. We are Sludge Underground on absolutely everything. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. It's Sludge Underground Podcast. Until next time, enjoy. It's triggered by Wallen. It's bye for now.